A New Year celebration turned into a nightmare. A diplomatic alliance cracked behind closed doors. And at the center of it all, Ukraine, Russia, and a growing storm inside American power circles. As the war enters another year, the battlefield is no longer just on the ground. It is shaking party halls, breaking political trust, and tearing through the highest offices of global leadership. Here is what unfolded. As the clock struck midnight and music filled the air, a New Year's gathering inside Russia was underway. People had come together to celebrate the start of a new year, expecting laughter, not explosions. Then, without warning, a Ukrainian strike hit. The attack targeted the area where the celebration was taking place. What began as a night of hope ended in chaos, fear, and destruction. Emergency responders rushed to the scene as flames and debris filled the air. Hours later, officials confirmed the worst. The death toll had risen. More victims were found as rescue efforts continued. Families waited anxiously. Questions spread quickly. Why this location? Why this moment? As news of the strike spread, it sent shockwaves through both countries. The timing, New Year's Day, made the impact even more severe, emotionally and politically. The incident became another painful reminder that, in this conflict, even moments meant for peace are not spared. But while the explosions echoed on the ground, another conflict was quietly unfolding thousands of miles away, inside Washington. Behind closed doors, tensions were rising between US President Donald Trump and his own special envoy for Ukraine, retired General Keith Kellogg. According to reports from US media, Trump was furious over Kellogg's public support for Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. The anger was not subtle. Trump reportedly mocked and dismissed his envoy, calling him an idiot during internal conversations, after Kellogg praised Zelensky as a strong leader fighting for his country's survival. This moment exposed a deep fracture inside the US approach to Ukraine. The clash began after Trump openly criticized Zelensky, accusing him of refusing elections and ruling under emergency powers. Kellogg did not echo that message. Instead, he spoke positively about Zelensky in public, describing him as a leader under immense pressure during a national crisis. When Kellogg later arrived at the White House, Trump reportedly confronted him directly. The question was sharp. The mood was tense. Trump challenged Kellogg's praise of Zelensky. Kellogg stood his ground. He reportedly told the president that Ukraine was fighting for survival on its own land and compared the moment to one of the most defining struggles in American history. That comparison did not go over well. Soon after, Trump was said to have dismissed Kellogg in harsh terms while speaking to other aides. At the same time, voices close to Vice President J.D. Vance were growing more skeptical of Kellogg's role. They reportedly viewed him as outdated, someone shaped by Cold War thinking. According to these officials, they believed Russia would never negotiate seriously with him. They also questioned Kellogg's proposals, which included a ceasefire, continued military support for Ukraine, and tighter sanctions on Moscow. From their perspective, these ideas would only stretch the war longer. Inside the administration, a different word was gaining traction: de-escalation. And Kellogg was no longer seen as part of that path. By late last year, signs of Kellogg's fading influence were clear. He made multiple trips to Kiev, but none to Moscow. He was absent from key meetings, including a high-profile summit between Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. He was also missing from the latest talks between Trump and Zelensky in Florida. Then came confirmation. Kellogg is expected to step down from his role sometime this month. In Kiev, his departure is viewed as troubling. He had been seen as a familiar voice, someone willing to listen. Now, that voice is fading from the room. As 2026 begins, the conflict is evolving in dangerous ways. On the ground, deadly strikes are reaching places once thought safe, even celebrations. At the top, alliances are shifting, envoys are being pushed aside, and unity is cracking under pressure. The war is no longer just about territory. It is about trust, influence, and who controls the next move. And as the fighting continues, one thing is clear. The next chapter is already being written.